Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Today, as the sun rose in England, the United Kingdom, there was a change. The change in the Downing Street, and a new person, an alter ego of people like Trump and Modi, became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Boris Johnson. He is a disruptionist. And in this digital age, disruption is called for. We want disruptionist technologies. We want disruptionist blockchains. We want disruptionist processes. So why not disruptionist political leaders? And as Bojo, the short form of Boris Johnson, takes over, there is a wave which might well become a tsunami, and which will remind us the media reaction to Hindutva of Modi, to making America great again of Trump, and now Johnson. I'm leaving out Australia and Austria, which recently undergone the same transformation, where so-called conservative people came into power. So the disruptionists, as they are, the conservatives, are an anathema to the liberals. And the liberal media, the so-called leftist media, I shouldn't call it liberal, I should call it the demented media, is all up in arms against Bojo coming into power. He is committed to two things. One, what Elizabeth May could not achieve, despite trying thrice, he has assured it will be done by Halloween, 31st of October. He has given himself 100 days and says that Britain would be out of EU. The Brexit would take effect. The divorce would be effective. The honeymoon has been over a long time. And now another thing which comes up is the Irish front. Because the moment England leaves EU, its border with Ireland becomes a hotbed of politics. At present, it's a soft border. And Ireland would not like the military post to be there. So what happens? Again, Bojo, typically Trump style, has said, okay, I'll have satellite control of the borders, digital control of the borders, and we'll separate the borders to the satisfaction of Ireland. The foreign policy of Bojo is going to be such that will send shivers down the spine of any person who has leftist leaning, and even otherwise. Recently, Iran had taken over the oil tanker, and that is a bone of contention in the two countries. Now, with the Trump already saying goodbye to Iran treaty, authored and engineered by Obama, there is every likelihood that within the next 100 days, England would also say goodbye to Iran treaty. And then what happens? Iran is already up in arms against tanker episode notwithstanding. So the whole of Europe would be opposing this thing. Then comes a third point, which is Turkey. Till now, England and Turkey didn't have a very bad relationship, but don't forget that the Turkey is ruled by a strong man. And Erdogan is a dictator practically. And this person, Bojo, had written a poem in 2016, which got a reward, and it was published. This shows Erdogan having sex with a goat. So now this is a situation where Erdogan has either to meet very civilly, very politely, very decently with Bojo, the new prime minister, and it cannot afford to annoy Bojo. And personally, he hates his guts, his face, his feelings. Aside, his very persona is offensive to Erdogan. So what happens? Already Turkey is having a difficult time with USA. It has purchased S-400 missiles from Russia, which USA doesn't like. And now if USA is reinforced with the support from Boris, then there's surely going to be a lot of things to worry about. So that personal equation, which may have, would be over. Now coming to India, Boris Johnson is going to have a special consideration for India. His wife, though both are annoyed with each other these days, they are estranged, is half Indian. And there are two people who are going to be definitely ministers in Boris Johnson's cabinet, including Priti Patel. And quite possible Priti Patel might be the foreign secretary, if not the home secretary. And if that happens, you can be sure that relationship between India and its earlier master, England, is going to be very cordial. Now, what I see is a change in the excuse me. Sorry. Well, I was saying change in going to the global geopolitics. We have been talking about the quadrilateral opposing West. Now with this personal equation coming in and some hard relationship developing, hard line in a very soft relationship between India and USA because of Trump's statement that Modi had requested, which was not a correct statement. So that situation is going to change. Turkey is going to be supported by Germany, and now only day before yesterday, the confidante of Merkel became the president of EU, a hardliner who firmly believes that old Holy Empire needs to be established. If that Holy Roman Empire, which will be fourth in the world, then the relationship with other countries would naturally suffer, especially with fundamentalist countries. The situation might be different. But then EU, which was a monolith till now, is now a divided home. And Boris Johnson is going to be the catalyst. Now, he has taken one, I was talking about his Indian love because of his wife and his relationship. His principle is also basically from Mahatma Gandhi. Not the non-violence, not the love and affection, not to hurt others, that he doesn't care about. But he believes in action. And he has adopted Gandhi's statement, a dictum, do or die. Gandhi had used this statement in 1942 when he said, quit India, and called upon the people to do or die. Now, Boris is also proclaiming from the rooftop, do or die. And do or die means what? A, leave Brexit. B, make the country integrated so the multiculturalism is out. C, recession is to be faced with iron hand. So, what happens? This do and die philosophy, this doing the job like Trump is doing, is definitely going to ruffle the feathers. And in any society, when the feathers are ruffled, the people who suffer, the people whose placid life is disturbed are up in arms, especially the media. Now, even before Bojo took the oath of the office, media, whether it's CNN, whether it's Independent, whether it is Guardian, all are up against him. They are calling him a Xerox copy of Trump. They are calling him a male chauvinistic Modi minus his male chauvinism. They are calling him a reactionary, like they call Modi a reactionary and Trump a reactionary. They also say that this man has little understanding of the foreign policy, the way they blame Trump. Now, they forget that Trump has been much more successful than Obama was. At least Duterte didn't call him son of a whore. But the liberal media is definitely up in arms against Bojo as it is against Modi. Let's not forget it. It was Time which called Modi the divider in chief. In India, about 18 channels and practically all the newspapers are against Modi government, and they need any excuse to start their criticism, while they'll gloss over huge mistakes of the Congress leaders. They can tolerate dumb Manmohan, but they cannot tolerate Modi. So, this media reaction against Trump, Modi, is going to come up with a greater fury for Bojo. Then comes the reaction of the Muslim community. England has a huge population of Pakistan. How would they react? Because he is pro-India, definitely they are not going to like it. So there would be some heartburning, if not a lot of it, but the situation would be bad. So domestically for England is going to be a serious position. Internationally, the whole situation has changed. One thing is clear. Whatever Bojo does would be criticized. Number two, there is definite acceptance by the majority of the people of the conservative values. And you know, the way Trump had defeated Clinton, who was thought to be invincible, Boris has defeated his nearest contender, Hunt. Bojo got 92,000 votes against 46,000 votes by Hunt. So this was a very clear-cut victory. So despite the fact that the people like these disruptions, despite the fact that the people have been disenchanted by the liberals and the Democrats and the leftists, despite the fact that they are good for their countries, good for the economy, despite the fact that they stand for the cultural and the family values, the media and the other countries controlled by liberal ideas, so-called liberal ideas like Macron, are not going to take kindly to that. And now Macron's position is he is opposed to Trump and he would be perforce opposed to Bojo. And suppose in October, conservatives come back in power, then Trump's only friend, only good friend, would be defeated, would be gone, Trudeau. And if Merkel has to go, and as she is going in September, so France would be the only power in the whole of Europe holding the citadel of liberalism. So the situation is fluid, but one thing is definite, that Bojo's coming in has strengthened the conservative forces, the forces of nationalism, and the forces of those values which have been cherished over the ages. Agreed, they are disruptionists, but as I said, the world needs disruptions. Disruptionists are the people who are going to demolish the establishment and create a new establishment which shall be in tune with the hopes and aspirations of the people. The disruptionists started coming with Modi, USA, then came Trump, Australia came, Poland, to some extent even Prince Salman in Saudi Arabia, Scott in Australia, and now Bojo. Slowly and steadily, the tribe is growing. Let's see what happens. But definitely, the whole geopolitical situation is changed. Thank you.